Tell me if you've experienced this. Something sparks motivation in you. It might be a YouTube video, it might be seeing a happy couple, it might be seeing a fit body. One moment you feel motivated, you feel like, okay, I'm gonna improve my life. And the next moment you just feel like it's all hopeless and I should give up because how the hell is someone like me gonna do that? You know, I don't have the capability to do that. This is too much. It's this cycle between motivation and hopelessness. There's a source of motivation that inspires you to start pursuing a goal. But somewhere along the way, you hit a roadblock and suddenly you feel overwhelmed as fuck. There's one prerequisite to everything I'm about to tell you in this video, and it's that you need to be journaling. That's the baseline habit you need to have in order for these things to be effective. Number one, stack the win. Find wins today, yesterday, or in the past week. Or God forbid, you can't find any wins in the past week, in the past month, in the past year. Every day as part of your journal, whether that's in the morning or you're checking in at lunch or in the evening, come to your journal multiple times a day. Get into that habit. And if you have nothing to write, just start writing about your wins. What did you do today that was a win? It doesn't matter how small. You got out of bed at 7 a.m., you made your bed, you meditated for 10 minutes. You read 3 pages of a book last night. You hit your deadline for work this week. You studied 3 hours for an exam yesterday. You took the exam this week. You drank more water than normal yesterday. I know it sounds pretty meaningless and trivial, but when you stack the wins, you're getting yourself into the winner's mindset. Because when you're wiring your mind to actively see wins in your past and your present, you're much more likely to see wins in the future, simply because you already see yourself winning. And this brings us to number 2, which is to live in the win. This is the Matthew effect. To those who already have will have more, to those who don't will not have. And it's dead simple. Winners are more likely to win. You don't have to be in the NFL, the NBA, or own a $10 million business to feel like a winner. It all starts in your head. And how often is it that we self-sabotage progress in our lives because we think we're not good enough for it? Because we think we have to achieve this big grandiose goal in order to feel any sense of win. And then we start this cycle of negative self-talk that we start beating ourselves up because we make 3 grand a month as opposed to 25 grand. If you feel like a loser, you're actually the person who needs to feel like a winner the most. Because if you stay feeling like a loser, you will continue to be one. And that's the harsh truth of the Matthew effect. It's that being a loser is a self-perpetuated cycle. It's because of your self-talk and the way that you cannot see the positive things in which you are doing that you keep yourself stuck in a negative loop. You already feel bad about yourself. Then you hear other people tell you how much you suck, how fat you are, how incapable you are, how stupid you are, and then you use what other people say to validate your own belief of how much you suck. And so the cycle goes on. And you'll never break out of that loser's mentality until you refuse to believe it any longer. And it takes a lot of courage to believe it at first. It takes a lot of courage. But once you start doing it, it gets easier. You start feeling better about yourself. You start to feel more like a winner. You start to bring forth momentum. And it's the small wins on the day-to-day that stack up to something meaningful in the long term. So if you're living out the wins of your past and your present, no matter how insignificant, you're much more likely to win in the future because you automatically act out the beliefs that you hold, whether you know it or not. Number 3 is to make the win inevitable. We need to build systems that make the win inevitable. We need to create habits that we perform on a non-negotiable weekly or daily basis in order to stack those small wins. Because when we look at the goal and it's so far away, it's overwhelming. You're like, how the hell is someone like me supposed to get over there? I can't do that. And you're right, you can't. But what you can do is you can flip that switch to the cold setting in the shower for 5 seconds. You can make your bed in the morning. You can go to the grocery store and buy food and meal prep instead of always eating takeout, right? If you set yourself the goal of running 50 kilometers, how are you going to achieve it? I would argue, don't even think about the 50 kilometers. Set the goal, have the intention of this is the kind of person that I want to become. I want to be able to run 50 kilometers. But then forget about the goal. Don't even think about 50 kilometers. Create systems in your life and ask yourself, what do I have to do on a weekly basis and make sure that I hit so that I'm successful? Your system might be to run 90 minutes in a week, and you might split that up to 30-minute sessions. You might split that up to 15-minute sessions. If 90 minutes is too much, maybe you have to start humbly and start with 20 minutes a week, right? If 90 minutes is easy, you can move up. But don't worry about the 50 kilometers. Worry about hitting 90 minutes for the week. If you've done that this week, you're already successful. You've won. Track it in your journal. Track it on your calendar. But each day that you do 20 minutes of cardio, that's a win. Each time you make a delicious protein smoothie, that's a win. Just focus on achieving the system, right? Make the behavior towards your goals automatic and non-negotiable. Because what systems do for you is they create automatic wins, granted that you act them out. And they're not hard. They're stuff that you can do. Set it at a level that you can do. Create your systems to get to that goal and focus single-handedly on what you're doing on the day-to-day and on the week-to-week. If you do that, you've already won. And the more you can dwell in the win, the more likely it is you will win and continue winning and win bigger, because you see that the small wins are effortless and now you want to chase the bigger wins. It becomes a high of momentum. And you start to see, once you build these systems up, how easy it is to have 20 wins in a single day. And you don't have to climb Mount Everest. And if you can win 5, 10, 20 times in a day, then I'll bet you it's impossible that you won't reach your goal eventually. I've created a downloadable guide called Quit Porn the Right Way. It's based on self-improvement principles to quit your addiction, to build a vision for your life, and to build systems to automate the art of winning. If you're interested in that, the download will be in the comments or in the description.